So my name is Michael. I've lived in the Bronx my whole life. At the end of the year, I'm going to be 30 years old. In 2009, I graduated from the Art Institute of New York, where I studied film. Well, I live with my grandmother, and I have lived with my grandmother basically my whole life. My mom lived in the house with her when I was little. I have a younger brother. We're about 8 years apart. Once he was born, I was 9 years old and we moved out, my mother and myself. And I went back and forth for a while, and eventually I don't have the greatest relationship with my mother, so I ended up kind of just staying with my grandmother. So out of all her grandchildren, I'm actually the middle of her grandchildren. There's at one point, you know, she basically saved my life. I can say that with confidence. Again, my mom and I, very rocky relationship. She was very abusive, physically and mentally to me. I was in a foster home, me and my brother, for about 2 or 3 months. And this was back in, I would say, maybe 95, 96. And I came back to live with my grandmother after that, and I've been here ever since. Things happen for a reason. So it's like, because my mom was kind of a jerk, I developed defenses that I've used my whole life. I've also learned from it, like, what not to be, because I would like to have children of my own, and now I know what not to do, because I can say, well, my mom did that and it didn't work, and this was one of the negative effects of it. So I know not to do that to my own, God willing, my own children. It has been a tireless battle with my weight, again, since I was a very young child. And that's what that's the hardest thing to explain to people. I don't know what it is to be skinny, the athletic type. Okay, again, I've always been the chubby child, then the husky child, then the fat kid, then the fat boy. Now just the horrible mess that I am. But I'm fixing it. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years old. I just remember, having a little more extra than the other kids. Okay, I was pretty active. Again, I was from preschool all the way up to high school. I was in Job Corps for 2 years, college for 3 years. I've been working since I was 12 years old. Again, it's not a point where I was never inactive. I didn't just stay home and eat and watch TV and play games all day. That actually came much later. Summer camps, fresh air, fun. I did all that. Playing basketball. I wasn't great at it, but I did it. I played sports. I did baseball. I had football, of course, because again, I was kind of always kind of pudgy in a way. But again, I was always active. I was always outside. My job was to go out, get stuff for the store, clean, help customers. So again, it wasn't like I was just sitting down, like I kind of am today in front of a computer for 6 or 7 hours a day. I was very, very active. But for some odd reason, the weight was kind of always my issue. Again, I'm also asthmatic, which of course you know that in the Bronx we have a very, very high rate of asthma. I've been an asthmatic all my life. So again, active but limited. That any doctor will tell you dealing with weight is your heart. Okay, my heart is working twice as much, maybe even 3 times as much as a normal person. And it's not even about being healthy. And by healthy meaning, like, could be someone with cancer, someone with high blood pressure. It's just the strain that my heart has pumping blood as fast as it can throughout my whole body. Yes, the high blood pressure, diabetes. There is a plethora of health issues that are related to obesity. The first thing is that it is one of those things where it is 100% avoidable. One of the main things that is associated with weight that's not a direct health is depression. Depression and obesity go together like, peanut butter and jelly. I can tell you every once in a while I will get like super depressed because of my weight, and so what I would do about it, I would eat more. That's the thing. One of the first things anyone dealing with the weight problem is they have to realize that this is really the first step. Realizing triggers, meaning like what makes you depressed. Obviously, it's because of society. Again, the stigma behind being overweight. but figuring out, okay, if I get depressed, instead of stuffing my face where like I can't even walk, I have to change that. There has to be something else I can do, whether it's painting or going for a walk or watching TV. Anything is better than adding to the problem. A 5-minute walk for me, let's say 10 years ago, would turn into a 10-minute walk, and then ultimately it would be a 20-minute, until you got to that point where it's like, okay, something that would take me 5 minutes is now taking me 4 times as long. There's a problem. Because first you think, maybe because I'm getting older, or maybe because I'm not motivated anymore. But again, it's all ultimately it's all connected to the weight. I was really starting to do something about it maybe 4 years ago. I don't want to do surgery. For about let's say a year, I was on prescription anti-hunger pills, and they were working fine. They were great. For the first few months, yeah, I noticed, wow, I'm not hungry anymore. I was taking the pill 3 times a day. I'm taking these pills, now I'm eating twice as much as what I was doing before. I can lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks, not a problem, because especially it's all water weight. But I could easily gain that back within 2 days. At the beginning of this year, okay, 29 years old, I weighed 560 pounds. Okay, that's the most I've ever weighed in my life. 20 pounds a year, maybe a little bit more. If I'm eating because I'm hungry or just because I'm bored. Another example, like Chinese food, I would get like, you know, the large thing of pork fried rice, and then another small thing of pork fried rice, and maybe like 2 egg rolls. Again, eat that. An hour later, I'm like, now I want like something else. So I'd go and look for more food. Even if I felt full, I still wanted to put more food. It was like in my mouth. Horrible. Oh yeah, I mean, when you're eating it, it's like heaven. But as soon as you're done, you're just awful. Recently, the other day, I had French fries. Even though I shouldn't, I said, I haven't had it in a while. Let me try. The joy of eating it was gone. The French fries tasted better in my mind than actually eating them. It's almost like torture. To anyone that's overweight, when you tell us we can't eat something anymore, that's the first thing we want to eat. And again, it's a mental thing. I decided about a year afterwards, I said, okay, let's just do it. Just start the process. It took me over a year to get this surgery done. It is a long process, which they really don't tell you about in the beginning when you see the surgeon for the first time and they talk about the different operations. I actually had the gastro sleeve, and what that is it's literally just cutting my stomach in half. So here's my stomach, the pouch part, that pouch part is gone. 12 different doctors I had to see, all for different things. For the heart, checking my veins, support group meetings, seeing the dietitian about 4 times. So yeah, I mean, it's an endurance just to get to that step where, okay, I was 560 pounds. Okay, the surgery was supposed to be, you know, a few hours, 2 days in the hospital. I ended up in the hospital for a week. I had a bad reaction to the anesthesia. A lot of people ask me after that, oh, has it been worth it yet? And I always say, well, ask me in 6 months. You know, it's been 4 months now. I'm losing weight, but it's still too fresh in my mind to remember that stuff. Now that I've had the surgery, and you know, I had to go through, you know, a 3-step kind of eating. Again, I don't like to use diet, but it was diet. Nice portions of my food. Let's say I make 2 cups of rice, and I take like maybe a chicken cutlet about maybe that big, be my meal. And again, I would eat that in like 10 minutes or so. I couldn't even eat half of that. My grandmother makes rice. She makes 1 cup of rice, and that 1 cup of rice will actually last me 2 meals. Just because, again, I get full really fast now. Before, this would be just for me. So, where I'm making these chicken here, instead of 1 pack, you know, we divide it, there would have been about 4 pieces here. Sometimes it's the little things that you're doing that you don't realize you're doing that does the most damage. They weighed me before I left the house, and I had lost 18 pounds. That first week of nothing but like liquid. I don't eat bread really anymore. If I have bread, I have it maybe once every 2 weeks or so really limited. I was overdoing it with the rice and the mashed potatoes. One thing I can eat every day is mashed potato. Again, portion size. So I'll give you another example. Going back to the pizza shop endeavor, one beef patty now fills me up. And again, I take 20 minutes to eat it. I have lost a lot, but I think he's expecting a little bit more. When you're overweight, it's really hard to get a girlfriend. I can tell you that. People laugh, and that does affect you. I mean, you walk around and see other people, and you see couples together, like mess with your head. One thing you do is to avoid that is you don't leave your house anymore. For a while, I was like that. I mean, at one point I didn't leave my house for 3 months. I didn't leave my house. I didn't even go outside to get fresh air. It's like I was kind of creating a prison for myself. Let's say you're on a crowded bus, and then you look out and you see someone my size coming in. The first thing, oh my God, now here comes this guy. Now we're going to be like this. We're, even more. So me, I'm the type of person that I'll wait for the next bus. Or if I see something crowded, I'll wait for the next one. I could be in a hurry, but again, I'm more concerned about other people than I am myself. A lot of stigmas surrounded overweight people that, we're all lazy, we're all smelly, we eat everything, Most overweight people, most of us, there are a few that are kind of, we have really good personalities, and it's because that's all we have going for us, is our personality. So we have to be, really cool and funny and stuff like that too. But, unfortunately, again, the weight kind of defies us. Now, I have lost a total of 62 pounds. And it's been about 4 months.